Alrighty. All right, share screen. Let me know if you guys are seeing the screen. You guys should be seeing the screen right now. So we're gonna let me know if you guys are seeing the screen. If you guys are seeing the screen, let me see some fire in the
Yes.
chat.
Yeah, we can see.
All right, I don't have my multiple monitors, so there's gonna be some stuff on the screen. All right. All right, cool. So, all right, so everybody's seeing it. All right, bet. All right. So the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection, right? 12 CFR Part 1022. So for those of you who don't know, 12 CFR Part 1022 is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, just like 12 CFR 1006 is the FDCPA, right? So this is specifically to consumer reports, and this is telling you the agency that did the review, and it's an advisory opinion, and then up here now they give the summary. So I'm going to go through all 14 pages of this document. So the summary, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is issuing this advisory opinion to outline certain obligations of consumer reporting agencies and consumer report users under Section 604 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. Now, on this document, they use 604, 605, 609. If you follow, it's the same as 15 USC 1681, 1681B. Like they'll use different sections compared to what we normally use when we study. But if you look both of them up, you can find document that translate both of them simultaneously. So do not feel lost. Just go to Google, type it in, and it will give you both of them. All right. So this advisory opinion explains that the permissible purpose listed in the FCRA section 1604, and this is referring to 604, this is referring to 15 USC 1681A3. 1681B, I'm sorry, 1681B, and then you go down to 3, and it's going to give you specific terms on what permissible purpose is, because 604 falls under, permissible purpose falls under 1681B. Are consumer specific, and it affirms that a consumer reporting agency may not provide a consumer report to a user under FCRA section 1604A3 unless it has reason to believe that all of the consumer report information in it includes pertain to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. Now, you remember when I spoke about merge profiles, that people might have same names? So this is speaking specifically on that. Let's say a father and a son, a senior and a junior that has the same name, and one of them, some of you might have clients like these, and some of you might not, where the father's information flows in on the son's report, or the son's information flows in on the father's report because they share the same name. So this is saying now that a consumer reporting agency cannot furnish a consumer report if the information on the report is not specifically for the consumer, right? So unless it has reason to believe that all the information, all of the consumer report information it includes pertain to the consumer who is the subject, the consumer who is the subject. So if it's talking about, if the report is for Darain Delevante Jr., it shouldn't have information on Darain Delevante Sr. Does that make it, y'all get what I'm saying? It has to be specific to the consumer. The Bureau notes that disclaimers will not cure a failure to have a reason to believe that a user has permissible purpose for a consumer report provided pursuant to FCRA section 604A3. So what that is saying is that before they used to give disclosures, you cannot give disclosures anymore. You must now know that the information that you're furnishing is regarding to this consumer. You cannot give a general statement anymore or any type of disclosures. You must have that certified document where permissible purpose was given. The advisory opinion also reminds consumer reports users that the FCRA section 604F strictly prohibits a person who uses or obtains a consumer report from doing so without a permissible purpose. Let me read this again. The advisory opinion also reminds consumer report users. Who are consumer report users? Drop it in the chat. Who are consumer report users? Who uses
CRAs.
the consumer reports? The CRAs doesn't use the consumer report.
The companies,
The data
The companies
furnishers,
that
correct.
deciding to give you
Companies,
credit.
creditors. These are data furnishers, right? So the law says the advisory opinion also reminds consumer report users, aka who? Data furnishers, that FCRA section 604F strictly prohibits a person who uses or obtains a consumer report from doing so without permissible purpose. So when you go to that car dealership or your clients go to that car dealership, the FCRA strictly prohibits all 15 of them running the consumer credit report if they don't have permissible purpose. If they don't have that written documentation that gave them permissible purpose, they don't have it. They cannot use it. They are prohibited from doing so. So when you guys are getting these inquiries deleted, this is what you need to be talking about, right? So, oh, where did it go? This advisory opinion is effective on, they didn't put it here, but it's July of 2022. All right. So for further information, contact this person, Ruth, yada, 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 Office of Regulations. Well, here's a number that you guys can call, test it out, and let me see what happens. You can, I would start, Doreen, don't even think about it. I would use this number as to assist me with disputes. I swear to God. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this number. Why not use it? Make some complaints about some disputes I'm having. All right. But yeah, let's go on to the second one. So electronic format, contact the CFPB. Oh, here's the new address for the email address for the CFPB. Right there. All right. Supplementary information. The Bureau is issuing this advisory opinion through the procedures of its advisory opinions policy. Refer to those procedures for more information. All right. So 1, advisory opinion background. Consumer reporting agencies collect and assemble or evaluate information about, among other things, the credit, criminal, employment, and rental histories of hundreds of millions of Americans. They package this information into consumer reports, which are used by creditors, insurers, landlords, employers, and others to make eligibility and other decisions about consumers. This collection, assembly, evaluation, dissemination, and use of vast quantities of often highly sensitive personal and financial information about consumers poses significant risk to consumer right to privacy. Guys, are you like paying attention to the words that the CFPB and the Bureau is using? Like, look how they formulate the words. The collection, assembly, evaluation, dissemination, and use of vast quantities of often highly sensitive. Guys, could we all go on mute, please? Make sure we're all on mute. Of highly sensitive personal and financial information about consumers poses significant risks to consumer privacy. That's coming from the CFPB, right? So the FCRA regulates consumer reporting. Congress enacted the statute to ensure fair and accurate credit reporting, promote efficiency in the banking system, and protect consumer privacy. So if we're making complaints to the CFPB, what type of language do you think you need to put inside of your complaints? The same language that they gave you in their opinion letters, the same language that's in their laws. Why would you want to use something else like, oh, they didn't respond to me, this doesn't belong to me? That, like, let's use their language. They're telling you what to say because they already said it. Use their own words, right? So the FCRA regulates, we went over that. Boom. One of the problems with the credit reporting industry, look at this, one of the problems, so maybe y'all want to take a note of that. One of the problem with the credit reporting industry that Congress recognized and sought to remedy. So sought to remedy mean they went to do something about it. I don't know if they did something about it yet, right? With the FCRA was that what? Information in a person's credit file was not always kept strictly confidential. Well, hello. Hello. Confidentiality is a big part of your consumer report. Then you go into definition. What does confidentiality means? Expound on that. Speak on it. Use their words to tie into your end goal, right? The statute was enacted. So in your disputes and in your round 1 or round 2, you can put stuff like the statute, the FCRA was enacted to prevent undue invasion of individuals' right to privacy in the collection and dissemination of credit information, in the collection and dissemination. Well, I have a right to privacy. If I don't want my information disseminated, I have that legal right. It's all about how you tell your story using their language. So as courts have recognized, a major purpose of the FCRA is what? Privacy of consumer data. So don't tell me about any public record. I don't want to hear it. The FCRA protects, the purpose of the FCRA protects consumer privacy in multiple ways. All right. So in your mind, you should be like the Ranger said, the FCRA protects consumer privacy in multiple ways. Let me write down these multiple ways. That's more than likely going to come next, right? Including by limiting the circumstances under which consumer reporting agencies may disclose consumer information. For example, FCRA section 604 entitled Permissible Purposes, or 15 USC 1681B of consumer reports, identifies an exclusive list of permissible purposes for which consumer reporting agency may provide consumer reports, including in accordance with the what? Written instructions of the consumer to whom the report relates, and for purposes relating to credit, employment, and insurance. The statute states that a consumer reporting agency may provide consumer reports under these circumstances and no other. It means if the circumstances are not listed in the list below, are in the list of what 15 USC 1681B says, or section 604, they cannot produce a consumer report if those criteria aren't met, right? So in addition, the FCRA section 607A requires that every consumer reporting agency shall maintain reasonable procedures designed to limit the furnishing of consumer reports to the purposes listed under Section 604 and the FCRA Section 620, which this should be, if I'm not mistaken, 15 USC 1681 O. N and O, under where civil liability is. All right, so let's go on. See, oh, here we go. Criminal liability on any officer or employee. So let's go back. Let's read it into it. So limited the furnishing of consumer reports to the purposes listed under Section 604 and the FCRA Section 620, right? 620, which is 1681N. Someone just verify that and drop it in the chat. I'm more than positive it's 1681N, which imposes criminal liability on any officer or employee of a consumer reporting agency who knowingly and willfully provides information concerning an individual from the agency's files to an unauthorized person. Now, hold up, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. Criminal liability for any officer or employee. So if someone in TransUnion furnished information in your consumer report to someone that did not have permissible purpose, you can hold that employee liable under Section 620 or Section 15 USC 1681N. Guys, when you're reading these things, I don't want you to rush reading these things. I want you to take your time and extract relevant information, right? All right. In addition to imposing permissible purpose,